What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Simplify with Ryan. Today we're talking about a very simple concept. We're talking about the assets that people own and how people are generally categorized based upon the assets that they own. There are three classes here. They're very simple and very high level. Obviously, there are exceptions to each of these classes and the individuals that fall within. So this is just for general purposes of describing how people pursue assets and what that means about your wealth. Now, the lowest rung here are the people who are generally classified as lower income or poor. What do these people own? The main asset for people in this category is a car or cars. People who buy expensive cars, who cannot afford those cars, the only assets they tend to have are those cars. They spend their lives working and working and working to pay off these high automobile interest loans that they acquire to get that car for whatever purpose it serves in their life. Now, oftentimes there are very cheap alternatives to buying an expensive vehicle. You can buy the version that is 10 years old, which has a ton of useful life and probably is a lot less expensive, but it's not as flashy. It doesn't serve a purpose. It's not as exciting as the brand new sports car or the brand new truck. And so poor people often get themselves caught up in very expensive car loans. Now, the next class of individuals really has to do with most of the people out there who are middle class, who have good jobs, very responsible financially. This is the group of people that oftentimes they just own a home. Now, of course, they have cars as well, so they're owning both the car and the home. But in order to balance those resources, these individuals typically have a pretty balanced perspective. They're buying the house and the car that they can afford based upon the income that they have through typically a job that they've acquired through an employer versus the final class that we'll talk about. Now, the third class of individual that happens to be at the upper class or top 1% of individuals, the asset that they own is usually a business. Those who own and operate their own business own and operate a number of assets, which are a business, real estate empires, for instance. These are the individuals who build true, lasting, and meaningful wealth well above the average individual. And so if you are early in your journey and you're starting to prioritize how you build your wealth, the simple advice from this video is to think about how you can create more value through business. By far the simplest way to build wealth is to increase your income, and to do that in a way that isn't capped by salaries and other constraints that exist in the 9-to-5 working world. Basically, you have to build your own wealth through a business. There are no limitations to how much money you can make owning your own business, and you can essentially increase this in an exponential way in the shortest amount of time possible. This asset is often associated with the richest people in the United States and the world in general, and should be the goal for anyone who wants to pursue financial independence at an aggressive pace. Now, this isn't to down talk those who are in the middle class who want to pursue a career that allows them to have a nice home and nice cars. This is perfectly acceptable. Just know yourself and know the goal that you want to achieve and pursue assets accordingly. If you are okay with the lifestyle that results in a nice home and cars for your family and allows you to live a long and prosperous life in this way without building huge amounts of wealth, then that is a very excellent choice and can frankly fast track your financial independence as long as you're following some sound and core principles. The fastest way to do this, again, is by building a business, owning a business, and creating wealth by providing value to society. This can be done in a very quick way, and there are no limitations to the amount of wealth that you can build. Versus those who are in 9-to-5 jobs, there's always a cap to your salary. There's always a limit to the amount of wealth that you can create for yourself, because by working for a business, you are actually creating wealth for the owner of said business. And for those of you who want to remain poor and unable to purchase a home, or find yourself in the middle or upper class of society, buy cars that are very expensive that you cannot afford, and continue to pursue these vehicles without thinking about the long-term financial implications. Take a minute to put an example down below. Does this resonate with how you see wealth? These 3 asset classes, are you pursuing the right asset class? Let me know down below. If you have a moment, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.